got breaking news here on Colts Talk presented by Prize Pick. Kenny Moore is no longer an Indianapolis Colt. One of the names that requested a trade has been in the trade realm for Indianapolis since before the NFL draft. No trade was done. Instead, Indianapolis elects to cut Kenny Moore, release, waive, a lot of terms thrown around for it. Look, we put him as a cut candidate for a reason, right? This is exactly what we said would probably happen. It's been previewed by Chris Ballard. It's been talked about by Chris Ballard. We really heard no rumors about teams interested, making offers, fits after Moore made his request. All we kept hearing was Chris Ballard say, we're going to do what's right for Kenny. We want to make Kenny happy. We love Kenny. He loves us. We want to do the right thing here. And it appears the right thing ends up being Indianapolis releasing Kenny Moore, who we are going to talk about in this show, plus other moves made by the Colts just minutes after cutting Kenny Moore. Other names off the team. So the Colts, a little bit of spring cleaning, Kenny Moore included. But first things first, Kenny's a legend, right? He's well known in the Colts community, well beloved by many. We'll see how many when we ask some questions later. What is your one-word reaction to cutting Kenny Moore? The Colts let him go instead of trading him. What is your one-word reaction? Get down into the comment section and be heard here on Colts Talk. Adam Schefter on it pretty quickly as this came out. And again, you were in an interesting situation here with the Kenny Moore situation where it was he wants a trade. He just wants out of Indy. Indy's trying to figure it out. And I noted a few times, I was impressed by how they had done the Zaire Franklin deal and they had done the Michael Pittman deal. It made me feel like they would do the Kenny Moore deal, figure something out, get some type of trade done. I know a lot of you guys were big on the package him with Anthony Richardson, throw him in with Anthony Richardson. I don't think it was ever going to be that easy or that doable for Kenny Moore, who still has some football left to play. I really believe that. You know, I know a lot of you have commented, too, on you feel like the Colts defense is worse off without him. We'll definitely talk about his replacements and how he fits into that. Look, this is a very good both player and leader within the Colts locker room, which absolutely matters, absolutely plays a part. A lot of teams are going to be interested. A lot of teams are going to get in on Kenny Moore in general. 4-time team captain, right? That should not be taken lightly for what he did, especially after being cut right early in his NFL career and then making it with Indianapolis, doing good things for Indianapolis. Very fun player to watch. I mean, we were just at the NFL Combine, right? Chat Sports, checking things out. Kenny Moore is a giant banner on the side of the stadium. Shout out to whoever has to take that down. By the way, be safe getting all the way up there, getting that one done. Yeah, so it ends up being a cut, a release instead of a trade for Kenny Moore, which I know a lot of you guys are going to be kind of, I don't want to say angry or anything, but I know that's going to be a point of emphasis. Why did the Colts release Kenny Moore? Why is he being cut or let go of instead of Chris Ballard and company trying to find a trade for him? I think that's definitely something you guys should wonder about, and it's something we need to talk about in general. I understand a trade would have been ideal in the world of Kenny Moore. You want to do a Michael Pittman Jr. deal, right? A Zaire Franklin deal where you're doing this. But in this situation, and we showed you the numbers just a minute ago, you cut Kenny Moore, right? And you save about $7 million in the cap. And the Colts have a lot of cap at this point in time, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, you save the $7 million still. I understand you're not going to get like a 6th-rounder, 5th-rounder like you thought you may. But the pre-June 1st cutting also matters. That has to do with future dead money. So the Colts avoid the future year's dead money by doing that. And look, it's not the biggest difference. $2 million difference helps you out a little bit with some dead money. You make the move there. So question is, we've kind of flirted around it a little bit with the Kenny Moore situation. Will you miss Kenny Moore? I'm talking to you, Colts fans. Time to answer it. Will you miss Kenny Moore? Maybe that doesn't mean, maybe you're okay with him going, maybe not, but type Y for yes, type N for no. Before we get to replacements and more here on Colts Talk, do want to let you guys know today's show is presented by Prize Picks. Reminder, the Prize Picks app is a great app because it is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Why wouldn't you want an app like that? It's America's #1 sports pick app. Hear about the lineups. You see the lineups, right? Both here on the show, maybe other commercials. Yeah, that's because they're so easy to put together. You just pick more or less on a few player stats and then lock in your lineup. If you're a baseball fan, talking about home runs, hits, strikeouts in your lineups. If you're a basketball fan, you're watching the playoffs, points, rebounds, assists, blocks, three-pointers. How about combining them? That's what we did in our lineup for you guys today. Donovan Mitchell, we went simple, more on the 29.5 points for Spida. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's where we wanted to mix it up. Points, rebounds, assists combined. We're going more on 44.5 for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's an example of a more interesting lineup there by producer Aiden Priest. You can follow Aiden. He's putting together good lineups all the time at CSAP. I've got lineups of my own at Billy_Beebe. The new social feeds feature allows you to follow your friends or chat sports personalities like us, just like another social media platform. So with a single click, you can have our lineups, copy our lineups, use them for yourself, share with your friends. By the way, we have a new user offer for you guys. Download the Prize Picks app today with the link in the comment section and the description. Then use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay, strong pivot here, and I know another question of Kenny Moore is who replaces Kenny Moore. The good news for you guys, we're way ahead of it here on Colts Talk. We've literally been talking about it since the request was made by Kenny Moore. I don't know, maybe even during cut candidate season we talked about Kenny Moore replacements. The number one guy, the much-discussed name, the dude, if you ask around the building, is Justin Walley, the Minnesota draft pick from last year, who ended up with a really tough injury in training camp, tears his ACL, never really got the opportunity to stick throughout the year, obviously, with that injury. But man, it's from the players, it's from the coaches, it's from everybody around the Colts building. They are confident Justin Walley can step in and play. Solid stuff at Minnesota. Some stats up there for you guys about what he did at Minnesota. Again, 2025, an ACL injury, so didn't get anything going. Chris Ballard has said it. I believe Carly Ursay-Gordon said it. Other defensive players just like, dude looked so good in training camp, sustains that injury, and now they continue to sit back and wait and see. So next up, Justin Walley, the Colts nickel position corner to replace Kenny Moore. Outside chance, a guy I really like, an undrafted free agent, Austin Brown from Wisconsin. Very versatile. I'm a fan of these safeties turned nickels. Both in college football and NFL. I think it's always an exciting watch. That's what Brown is. He played a lot of safety at Wisconsin. Now he's kind of looking to try and step up and maybe do it for Indianapolis at the nickel position. Also, why not Cam Taylor-Britt, right? NFL veteran. I think it was good, not great for Cincinnati. Looking for a fresh start, new team. Look, you're going to have to coach him up. He's going to have to adjust. He's going to have to try and do new things if he wants to play nickel. I definitely think Cam Taylor-Britt will at least get some looks at that position. We don't have him starting as of right now, so he'll look to earn his way onto the field, and maybe the nickel position is the way to do it. Some guys that are not going to replace Kenny Moore, some other names released by the Colts also is like right after Kenny Moore. Nasir Adderley is gone, as well as linebacker John Bullock. Adderley, if you recall, was the player they signed, former Charger, but he'd been out of the league for 3 years. He retired abruptly a couple years ago, then was trying to make his comeback. Colts gave him a shot, clearly did not like what they saw. So, look, I know sometimes we hate on the Colts a little bit when they do these moves, like the tight end that's never played football or the safety that's been retired for a few years. Clearly, they are willing to correct that mistake quickly, or if they see what they don't think they should see, they will let a guy like Adderley go. Bullock, I don't know, not a needle mover, in my opinion, for the Colts defense. They've got a new linebacker room in general. So, your new look to the cornerback room as of right now, it is Justin Walley stepping into that nickel position. Eckler also could be somebody that competes for that nickel position. Again, Cam Taylor-Britt, athletic enough, right? You're an NFL football player at the corner position. Should be able to compete for nickel. Or Austin Brown, the undrafted free agent. The breaking news coming to you real quick here on Colts Talk. Let's do this. Whether it be Kenny Moore, whether it be Nasir Adderley, I didn't know you long, whether it be Bullock, sad to see you go, I guess. Let's wish these guys well. Let's thank them. They played for the Colts. They did things for the Colts. Let's hit that thumbs up button right now to say thank you.